5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How about we do it again?
6, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think I fallen.
Okay, let's try one more
I
time.
definitely.
Ready?
Ranking review.
Say 6,
6,
5,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Rank and Review listeners. Thanks for letting me into your ears. I don't know what episode this is because the Beckmann and I like to bank episodes in advance. We were celebrating New Year's together and we decided we were going to talk about some 80s sci-fi, but we're somewhere in the late 260s. Thank you for listening to Rank and Review. This is the voice of your host and random Canadian Larry Parsons. And yes, the 80s, science fiction. I mean, if you know the vibe of the 80s, you know. If you grew up in that, you sort of, you get it. And I guess I'm not saying you're limited if you didn't grow up with it. I think once you've seen enough 80s movies, you can maybe catch the vibe. But I often wonder what people who didn't grow up in the sort of garish, overmuch vibe of the 80s must make of a lot of these movies. And I think we got a good sort of cross-section between sort of the low-budget, crazy, edgy, weird 80s stuff and the high-budget, pushing the envelope for its time, straight-faced science fiction. But all of it seen through the prism of the 1980s. And I mean that mostly as a positive. Mostly. But what do you think? Let me know what you feel about 80s cinemas. Let me know what you feel about science fiction. Let me know what you feel about the Beckmann and his opinions. You can send me that information at RanknReview@gmail.com. That's RanknReview@gmail.com. You can check out the website at RanknReview.ca. And trying to get this whole YouTube presence to work for me, but they don't like my podcast using trailers, and I've been getting, blocked and whatnot. But I appreciate anybody who would like to support the show on YouTube as well. You can comment under some of the episodes, your ranks anyway, until I get that cleared up. And it's just a good forum for me to, get feedback and hear from my dozens of listeners. So, thank you so much. 80s science fiction. Let's get into it. Under the understanding that there will be spoilers, there will be swears, and there will be crazy. Happy New Year's 2025 to the Beckmann.
Happy New Year's 2025 to James Parsons III.
By the time this is catching your ears, it's probably several months into the year now. I'm banking this episode for later, but yes, I've been able to celebrate New Year's with Beckmann, and we like to mix business with pleasure.
Yes. right behind the ear, buddy. Right behind the ear.
You were alive in the 80s.
Yes.
I was alive in the 80s.
Yes, you were.
I sort of consider that my formative years. In the 70s, I basically didn't have any perception of the world, but I grew up in the 80s.
Yes.
In that sort of excess, in the sort of the birth of the Spielberg summer blockbuster, that whole thing, I caught that wave and rode it real hard.
Yeah.
We're talking today about science fiction, specifically from the 80s.
Yes.
Ding.
Sorry. Distracting.
It was like I just had the idea. Yeah, the 80s, science fiction. What to you makes something distinctly? There's obviously the aesthetic of the big hair and the oh my gosh, and the music and the synth and the sort of neon blue. But when you're talking about science fiction, these movies are set in the future. So sort of like when I recently reviewed Excalibur, it was a fantasy movie, but it felt really tactically 80s somehow. What do you think about these movies? Do they scream 80s for you? They're obviously not all of them timeless, but
I think the 80s satire, especially with horror comedies, that there's this certain distinctive nature or aesthetic to it, and that will be explored in this film. Star Wars is huge. The kids today don't realize how much Star Wars had an effect over our pop culture, because really there's two movies that owe a lot to George Lucas and that whole
most science fiction movies made with any kind of budget were either trying to be the next Star Wars or trying to emulate Star Wars.
Yes, yeah.
So, yes, definitely. So, and, yeah, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg really shaped, for good or bad, the blockbuster entertainments of the 80s, and to a large extent, both with their input to it and their production of movies, but, just the everybody else behind them trying to catch up. Yeah. How are you making these Raiders of the Lost Ark and,
Yeah. Gotta love me some prosthetics and matte sets, or matte paintings. We'll talk about that actually quite a bit, I think. And that is distinctively 80s, and I miss that.
If I grade on a curve, I'm going to try and be disciplined and not grade it on the curve of nostalgia, but on the curve of... In 1984, for instance, when they're trying to do this adaptation of Dune, I think they were doing cutting-edge special effects.
Yes.
Does it look amazing today? No. But I'm going to sort of judge it for that time that it came out in. We don't have computer-generated images on film very much at all in the 80s. The last Starfighter, which we're also going to talk about, is one of the first big ones post-Tron to even attempt it. So they have to do it, everything the hard way, quote-unquote. Yep. Although I feel like the more we get into this, the age of CGI, it's almost the easy way. It's easier to just do it in the computer later on. But in the 80s, you couldn't do it in any kind of way that wouldn't fool the audience.
There's still some limitations to what you could do with special effects somewhat.
Yeah. And even the stuff we had, the green screen, red is green screen. Even as a kid, I clocked that there was something off with that, right? Yeah. But I was so immersed in the movie that wasn't points away. I feel like nowadays, if a shot like that happened in one of these movies, like, the internet would be laughing at the movie and would be dismissed based on that one shot alone, right? Yeah. I'm not going to do that here. What is your goal? What are you trying to achieve?
Yes, I think.
And, yes, you were made in the 80s, so factoring that in, was that a help or a hindrance to your project?
Yeah. I think that's pretty smart. What is your film? What is it trying to be, and were you successful? Yeah. I think that's how I'm going to grade this, because... they are really... There's almost two different sets of films going on here with this list. One is very sort of horror satire, and there's others that are very, very epic space operas.
And the budget lines, right? Yes. Like, I'm sure that the catering for Dune would probably be the same as the budget for the stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I will also acknowledge that. If they are working with less and doing more, then I'm going to shout that out. And if they're working with more and doing less, I'm gonna admonish that.
Yes. Anyways.
As far as your childhood, do you think that could infect, like, your...
yes, I think there's going to be some sentimental picks that'll probably help the film ranks higher somewhat. There's a couple of films that are a big part of my childhood, even though they are deeply flawed. But yeah, there's a couple of films in here that, like I said, were a big part of my childhood, and you'll probably figure that out once we start talking about it.
Well, at this point, a lot of these films are knocking on 40 years old.
Oh, you remind me how old we are.
Which makes me feel old, right?
Oh, my back is hurting.
Time just continues to move forward. I don't know about you, but I keep getting older.
Yeah.
And,
I've got like gray hair on the side of my head, man.
But I think part of my joy of revisiting these movies is that it is kind of like revisiting my childhood. Yeah. But I can never watch these movies the same way that I watched them as I was when I was a kid. Yeah. I've just become too adult and too analytical. But I recently did a largely 80s fantasy episode, and I actually found that I enjoyed them in a weird way more than I expected to, revisiting them. And I'm going to say that the same thing mostly happened here.
Okay. Interesting. That was a interesting little statement that you had at the end there. Makes me want to cry.
Okay.
Anyways,
We're going to talk about 6 80s science fiction
What are they, Larry?
films. We're going to talk about Dune from David Lynch, one of my personal favorite filmmakers.
How much do you love David Lynch, Larry?
Enough that I own quite a few of his movies.
Okay,
and I
well,
talk about him.
and tell me about Inland Empire.
Yeah.
What were your exact words as describing Inland Empire?
People can check out that review at RanknReview.ca or on YouTube anytime they like.
That's smart.
Without warning, or as it says here on my copy, it came without warning.
Hey, that's cool.
This actually was one of my buddy Scott's high-ranking guilty pleasure.
Scott is awesome.
Yeah. And again, we'll talk about it. It's definitely rough around the edges, but it also is definitely really charming in a lot of ways.
Yes.
We're going to talk about The Stuff.
Yes.
A sort of horror, satire, crazy movie. Yes?
And I think actually because, like, Larry Cohen,
pardon.
but that sort of proves the king in your theory that all people in movies named Larry are bad.
No, in characters in movies. If the guy's named Larry in a film, most of the time he's a scumbag, a villain, or like bad in some way. Just noticed it. Something I've noticed.
I'm sad now.
The Last Starfighter. Woo! This is probably the one that took the biggest bite out of my personal childhood.
Yep.
So if there's one that I'll be making some excuses for, I can see that happening there. And Enemy Mine from Wolfgang Peterson.
Wolfgang. I like the name Wolfgang. More people should be called Wolfgang in this one.
If I had another kid, he'd be Wolfgang.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to finish it out. We just screened it together yesterday.
Larry.
Terrorvision is going to be the 6th thing.
Terrorvision?
Terrorvision will be their last review. Thank you for lending your ears to Rank and Review.
Yes, thank you, people.
I will love you forever.
And the magical
Father, the sleeper has awakened!
will have their final battle.
Long live the fighters!
Do not show the slightest pity or mercy.
Emperor, we come for you!
Dune, a spectacular journey through the wonders of space and the mysteries of time. From the boundaries of the incredible to the borders of the impossible. Now, Frank Herbert's widely read, talked about, and cherished masterpiece comes to the screen. Dino De Laurentiis presents Dune, a world beyond your experience, beyond your imagination.
So let's get a few things out of the way, just so I don't have to bore you and myself too rapidly.
Okay.
Yes, I have a difficult relationship with David Lynch.
All right.
Sometimes I find it just to be really frustrating art wankery,
Sure.
or sometimes it just seems like excessive for the point of excessive, and
Sure.
sometimes it seems strangely, shockingly horrifying and brilliant.
Yeah.
But it never kind of completely coalesces for me. It seems like I always have issues. Even in the movies of his I like, I usually have a few things I'm like, but what was that about, right?
Yeah.
None of that has anything to do with why I think Dune fails.
Yep. Okay.
I think it wasn't that he brought too much of his eccentricity to the movie, although he does bring some of it.
Yep.
I
But
think
he's under a tight leash as well, though.
I think he was just absolutely the wrong person for the job.
Okay. I might argue differently. But
Looking at everything that he'd done leading up to this, what would make you think that he could handle a production of this size and
well,
scale?
he had just come off The Elephant Man.
Yeah, exactly. The Elephant Man and Eraserhead, right?
I think
those were small scale by any imagination toward this, and adapting
it's by far his
something as
biggest production, yes.
ambitious
Yeah.
as the Dune movies into something that you can have in a single Dune books, into something you can take in a single serving is something that was difficult to accomplish.
I think
today.
this project in its iteration was always doomed to fail, and it's more Dino and his, I think, either son or daughter's fault. Because they were trying to make Star Wars, and the biggest,
They wanted this to be the next Star Wars.
yes, and also you're trying to tell a 4 to 6 hour story in 2.5, and that is its greatest flaw. I have not seen the televised version, which put in a lot of scenes into David Lynch's Dune. Which
Yeah, we're talking about the theatrical.
I know, and that's what I saw. But I'm going to actually defend David a lot in this, because really they brought him in to add some visuals, and those dream sequences are beautiful to look at, and the film is beautiful to look at.
At times. There's also, it's so dusty and gritty, it's sort of unpleasant at times. It's got that same wasteland problem that we talked about, like with the Mutant Chronicles or things like that, where it's all so dry and gray and washed out.
So's Arrakis, though.
It's appropriate to the story, but I'm just saying,
Okay.
beautiful is maybe not the word I would use. The
I
dream
would.
sequences, I would in the new Dune.
Okay.
Anyway,
Go ahead, keep going, sorry.
The son of this Duke Atreides, Paul Atreides, he and his family have been tasked to basically, if not tame, join forces with the inhabitants of this alien planet Dune and harvest spice. They're replacing the Harkonnens who used to do it, and the Harkonnens have a grudge. And as we find out, there's people backing their plays for power here. Paul has his family and his kingdom basically stolen from him, and he becomes sort of a rebel scoundrel embedded with the Fremen in the desert lands of Dune, where he learns what his destiny will be and how he can try to reclaim pieces of what have been taken from
He's
him.
the Makat Surat, whatever, I forget the name of it,
This, I guess, Kyle MacLachlan would be establishing his relationship with Lynch here, right?
Yep.
Again, I don't think he's bad in the movie, but I have this thing with Kyle MacLachlan too. It's not as bad as with David Lynch, but other than maybe his character in Twin Peaks, I've never seen him in a role where I thought nobody but Kyle MacLachlan could do this role.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Like, he doesn't have a distinct identity to me. He shows up and he delivers the
He's just Kyle
lines.
MacLachlan?
He doesn't hit the furniture, but to some respect, he's always just kind of Kyle MacLachlan to me.
Yeah. He's got a couple of I'm action hero man scenes, especially when he's like trying to get on top of the worm. It's just sort of funny. You get the same sort of the William Shatner action acting that you have in the Star Trek films.
And hey, every now and then he had a supporting role in The House with the Clock in the Walls.
Yeah.
And he actually pulled out some of the stops, and I was like, huh, I haven't seen you kind of have this much fun.
Yep.
But again, would not have been my choice for the sort of central leading man of this movie. He's not terrible, but
No.
he doesn't have that wow factor.
I don't even think he's the worst performance in this movie. There's some ones that are
There's lots to
wacky.
choose from.
Yeah.
But to get the David Lynch weirdness out of the way, I feel like he's more comfortable dealing with the weird dream stuff and
Yes.
the Harkonnen creepy creature, celestial, psychic, like the spice makes you trip balls and travel through time and see shit, right?
Yeah.
Like it's probably much more richly explored in the book, but this is, I think, the stuff that David Lynch is sort of connected to. But
It's interesting that you say that, and I'm sorry
You
for
don't think so?
interrupting. Because the changes they made from the book to the film, which are kind of mind-boggling to me, like the movie opens after the very bizarre opening monologue, and we'll get back to that, where it has the navigators, those sort of giant, like
squid things.
spermy-looking creatures that they're talked about in the book, but they really do show up in Dune Messiah. Yet they have really 2 to 3 scenes in this movie, and I'm sort of asking why. I mean, Lynch does like to show how they travel through space, how those navigators come up and, like, you know, open up a hole to the one planet, another hole to other planets the spaceships can travel through. But why put it in the movie when it's not really in the book? So I will give you
the production design of those scenes are cool, but they're also paced really slow. They seem to suggest that these are going to be important things moving forward in the movie.
that. Yeah.
They're not. Really. They set the table, but then they kind of disappear from the movie, right?
Well, I know, and that's why it's odd. Like, it's really, they're really just there to show you that they're sort of in line with the sort of betrayal that's going on, but also showing you how the spice is used with
And
these
look at
creatures.
this big creature.
And they're by Carlo Rambaldi, and they are beautifully made. Like, I went, oh, that's. as a giant puppet, or as a set piece, it's beautiful. But it is interesting that they did put that in the movie when really it's like those characters specifically, they're mentioned, not seen.
Yeah. There's just things that I feel like Lynch focuses on that was a weird Lynch choice that maybe didn't help you. You were referencing the opening monologue, Virginia Madsen.
Yeah.
Sort of helping to sort of orient us. And
it's an exposition dump.
And it has to happen. In movies like this, it's just, there's too much. You can't get it all out in dialogue.
Yeah.
But to actually have her voice and image fade out, and then have her come back in,
it's
say,
such an...
oh, wait, I almost forgot to tell you.
It's an odd choice.
And it's obviously wrong, and someone should have said it, and no one said it, right? I don't know if David Lynch is too much of a genius to even question that, but it so screams that this is a movie, and right out the gate, an awkward, silly movie. That's the feeling that you go into. Then you get that cool scene with the monster, but it doesn't seem connected to the first scene you see. Once we get to the Sandwin writing stuff, again, the special effects look like they're 80s, but within the aesthetic of the movie, they work.
Yeah.
But
I also love the steampunk aesthetic, especially of the Harkonnens world.
Yeah, and the way their eyes glow, like the look of it's fine. The production design I wouldn't fault, but just I feel like the camera is almost every third or fourth shot of focusing on the wrong character or the wrong thing. They're not helping us narratively with the movie. In fact, in some cases, they're just muddying it up. But the floating fat Harkonnen, like, really well accomplished.
In the book.
And the whole business with the shielding stuff, like, that's really hard to get across, where you can almost withstand any outside barrage, but if someone gets close with the blade, they can actually force it through this. It was a little bit awkward in its 80s-ness, but as far as trying to get that across, that idea from the book, great. But when the big showdown happens, I don't know, the payoff just isn't there for me. Sting is glistening, for sure.
They oiled him down quite well.
There was an oil budget for that movie.
Yeah, another thing that kind of scratches my head, and I do think is a missed opportunity, is in the book there's a special kind of martial arts that are... What are they called again? Not the Fremen.
The Fremen.
That they use as a form of attack and self-defense in the desert. They do show it in Denis Villeneuve's film, but they decided against it because they didn't want to provide martial arts training to the actors, which is a shame. Instead, they came up with the weirding way where certain languages linked to their phaser guns can fire, and there's a certain level of firing. Muad'Dib is an ultimate kill word. Very bizarre, like just bizarre choice. When quite honestly, you've got a whole bunch of American and British actors that they've got
amazing actors, by the way.
Yeah,
like Patrick Stewart and
Jürgen Prochnow.
Yeah,
Max von Sydow. Brad
and they're
Dourif.
trying. I don't think anyone's phoning it in, is the thing. Like,
Jürgen Prochnow has this weird scene, though, when he's talking with Kamala McLachlan, where he's just smiling the entire time. And it's just like, okay, direction. He doesn't have to, you be, awe-inspired, but, this is kind of a sad, dark scene, because it's the last time father and son are really speaking as well. So it's just, there's some bizarre choices.
Or maybe have that smile for one scene. His dad has a weird, inappropriate smile, like he almost knows something is coming.
Yeah.
But not the whole scene.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But I think that Lynch is taking it seriously. In fact, I think Lynch takes it personally, to the point where he won't watch anyone else's adaptation of Dune. He won't talk about this adaptation of Dune. This hurt his feelings. This failure hurt his feelings.
Apparently, but the crew was definitely on his side. I think what happened, and this is talked about, where after a couple of test screenings, they were worried and they brought in that narration, and also the narration that the other characters have. It is in the book, but it is very distracting and not needed. So that was added. But Dino De Laurentiis and I think Rafaela, I hope I'm saying that correct. They wanted Star Wars, and Dune is not Star Wars.
It's just not. It could be as big as Star Wars if well handled, as time has shown. But no, it's a different property altogether. It's much more sci-fi than Star Wars. Star Wars is space fantasy to a large extent, with the Jedi shit anyway.
Yeah.
But
and also they get the first half of the book. That's something I do want to credit with David Lynch's Dune is that for the first half, they're pretty close to the novel, but as soon as they find the Fremen, like poor Sean Young, her character is just jettisoned from this movie, and she's a big part of the book. Same with the Sting character.
But I got to go get married to someone else.
Yeah. But the romance is a huge part both of Dune, and to also another extent Dune Messiah, the book, which is now coming as well. But they show up, and all of a sudden, Kyle MacLachlan becomes the Christ-like figure, or the one that's being prophesized, the one. Oh, so quickly.
I didn't feel him struggling with it. Like it wasn't later, bitch, but he didn't seem devastated by this tactical choice.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like they hit fast forward. All of a sudden, like, we gotta have our climax.
To be fair, this is something that all adaptations suffer from, but particularly Dune. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking like I've read it, Dune, and okay, I have. So. It's a very dense series of books. By any account, it's a hard thing to get your hand around.
Yeah.
So I think they just misguided the whole idea of the approach. It needed to be a series of movies or a miniseries.
Also, and I do think a cardinal sin is that I don't remember any scenes of rain in the book, Larry.
In the desert? No.
And like even in the first two books. And all of a sudden they decided to put that sort of happy ending that it's raining on the planet, full stop. And you could have had, if this film was at least financially successful, they were hoping to make more and more of these films. So why have that ending? Because that one kind of spits in the face of...
That is one of the most baffling things, because I'm going to assume, I'm going to give Lynch credit and say that it was a forced note upon him.
I think so.
Because that maybe gives this movie a more concise ending, like a happy thing for the people to leave on. But if you value the source material, it's basically giving you two big middle fingers, and then the credits roll.
Yeah.
So the people who love Dune will not love this movie. So all you have left now are the newbies. And the newbies are confused about 5 minutes into this movie, and they never get unamused.
Yeah.
I have seen this movie 3 or 4 times now, and I still find it like a messy thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful in its production end. And I don't like... It has a through-line narrative, which is just in of itself, for a David Lynch film, such a win for me. Right? And they're not like... Characters stay the same characters for the whole movie. They don't just randomly change because Lynch had an idea one day, right? Like, he's disciplined in trying to give this movie.
But I know they took the movie away from him.
Yeah. Well, and maybe that's what really hurts him about it, because this really isn't what David Lynch's Dune was meant to be, perhaps. Yeah. But whatever it was, I don't think it supports itself. Is it a debacle? No. But is it something that I can recommend, especially when we have a much, 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 much better Dune to watch now?
We've got actually too much better, because they did a TV series not too long ago. Gotta love that Toto and Brian Eno score, though. Dun, dun, dun,
I didn't mind it, actually.
Yeah.
Again, that seemed appropriate to the book. I felt like the musicians had read the book.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I love the look of the film. Like, I do love those sets, both of the planet Arrakis and the Harkonnen planet. It's got that sort of steampunk aesthetic that I was like, oh, that's very 80s. The costumes. They don't shy away from the ugliness of Dune's book, of Herbert's book either. And in fact, I think they handle the whole dark, homicidal, homosexually angle better in this version than they did in Denis' version. I mean, there's still reference to it, but there was something like the heart plugs. I think that's also another David Lynch invention, where they just had these heart plugs that didn't unravel. I could be wrong about that, but
again, like if they're in the book, I hope they're explained. It just seems weird that someone has a kill switch built into them.
Yeah. Well, if you end up in the desert without any water, you're screwed. You're screwed.
Yeah. It might be what I've referred to in the past as a sound-off movie for me.
Okay.
In that I can respect the production of it, but I find it narratively so frustrating that...
Well, it is, just because it's savagely edited.
Yeah.
Like, when the mother and Paul get to the desert. It is really fast forward, and then we get basically the attack back on the palace. That
just it lessens the impact of everything.
Yep.
I think I have run out of things to say about Dune. Is there anything you want to say?
It's not as bad as I think some people say, but it is narratively incoherent. I don't think it's David Lynch's fault.
Right.
It's an interesting failure, but pretty to look at.
When they start eating on you, don't come to me for help.
Baby!
He came down here with a sport. He wants to get himself a few trophies. And you know what? Right now, you and me, we are the prize game.
The hunter. The hunted.
That was no dream.
The thing that preys on human fear and feeds on human flesh. From deepest space it came, and now man is the endangered species. It came without warning, and now it's coming for you.
So, without warning, or it came without warning, depending, I guess, on where you are when you saw it. Graydon Clark is the director. This is one of those movies that, it's not that it's an amazing movie for me, but there are so many people that contributed to this movie that went on to bigger, better things.
It's one of those, look at them before they're famous.
There's that. It seems like the sort of template for Predator is kind of somewhere in here.
Yes, there's more reference to that, although I do find it a bit of a stretch, but go on.
Well, the same guy who plays the alien in this movie ended up playing the Predator, and it seems like this alien is down here hunting humans. He goes about it differently.
Yes. But I also, at the same time, the characters speak this, and that's one question I have, is how do you know that it's actually hunting you?
Oh, these are the questions that we just can't ask.
Okay.
As far as the logic of the movie
Yes.
and the eternal logic of each of the characters, no, it's pretty random and moment to moment. But you also have Jack Palance and Martin Landau, just like no half measures.
I would argue they understood the assignment.
No.
They understood
They are
the
making
assignment.
this cheesy movie cheesier by their presence, and that's fine. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
We have, baby, what's his face from NYPD Blue,
David Caruso, who's adorable with his 80s shorts.
He's tiny yellow 80s shorts that
he's 23 in this movie.
I can only imagine this movie must be humiliating for him.
Yeah.
Basically, because he always plays such a fucking tough guy and super serious.
It's like his balls haven't dropped at this point.
He really does seem like he's 13 years old, but he's 23 years old, and it's like, ooh, dude.
Oh, David. Oof.
This stings.
Oof, Malone.
These kids go out to camping in a place where they really shouldn't be, even though they've been explicitly told not to do this. And
don't go there.
There's this interesting, and I do think it's the memorable thing about the movie. This tall alien with the big dome head throws these teethy frisbee disc creatures.
But you can see the wires once in a while.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And they make this sound as they're going through the air. There's the big reveal when in the third act where the alien's actually in the house and we finally get a good look at him and the thing and all at one time. And
his hands changed too, though. Like,
to a baby Scott, it was traumatizing.
Yeah.
I did not have that experience for it.
No.
I found this movie pretty much hilarious.
Yes.
But in a way that I actually enjoyed it.
Yes.
It's kind of maybe on the guilty pleasure so bad it's good range, if I'm honest with myself.
Yes.
But did I enjoy watching Without Warning? Yes. Will I probably end up watching it again someday? Yes. Is it a good movie?
No.
No, it is not a good movie. But I would watch it again before I watch Dune, for sure.
Okay.
What did the Beckmann think of Without Warning?
There's a scene about 55 minutes into Without Warning that perfectly communicates what kind of B-movie gem this is. The great Jack Palance at night takes our young surviving couple aptly out to this, and they're named Sandy and Greg, by the way, are our two lovable couples. And they are both terrible in this movie. Terra
Awkward
Nutter.
acting.
Oh
yes.
my god, but they're pitch perfect in some ways. Terra Nutter and Christopher S. Nelson, who I don't know if they've done anything else, but whatever. Anyways, Jack takes him out to this alien shack, and the kids demand a gun for protection. Palance responds by putting the flashlight up to his face, smiles that crazy smiles, and gleefully says, "I'm not the crazy one," and hobbles off. I think I laughed so hard that I got some popcorn stuck in my throat at that point. And of course this spells like trouble for good old Jack. And then those biological discs show up, and they have like a bat-like squeal to them. Like, what kind of squeal is it?
It's a sci-fi 80s disc alien squeal, of course.
Yeah. And it like latches onto their flesh and it digs in. And I just was like, yes, more please. More.
It's interesting, this collision between a lot of older actors who this is like not their first rodeo,
Yeah.
or like they have been to the wars and back, and this is the latest gig, and people who have clearly never fucking acted before in their life.
Yeah.
And this collision of these two dramatically different places also adds to the weird vibe of the movie.
I know. What was Martin Landau's character's name again? Do you remember?
Sarge?
Yeah.
Fred Sarge Dobbs is what it says on IMDb.
Perfect. Like, I love the fact that he steals a police car and then like kidnaps the couples and like is convinced that they're
He's just helping. He's just helping.
Yeah.
Committing all of these terrible crimes. He's
Yeah.
just helping out. Yeah.
And the big face-off between him and the alien where he like slowly walks towards him when like, buddy, just up and shoot the creature. Shoot.
That's the benefit of a ranged weapon, my friend.
Yeah. But this is without warning.
No. We don't do the logical thing. We do the funniest thing.
Yeah.
We do the strangest thing.
Yep.
There's the main couple that we follow forever. Like, when there's the big spin around and we find out that the dude's been got.
Yeah.
Like, in a horror movie that was working, this is a devastating moment, right?
Yep,
This is this is the peak of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just...
Yeah.
So, it's a weird thing for me to review, because, like, I don't even like... It's not that I'm laughing at it. It's not badly made in a technical level. Like, it's cheap.
Yes.
And some of the acting is very bad. But, like, I feel like the people behind the camera know what they're doing. They're just making the best
I think they
out
knew
of it.
exactly what they were doing. I think they knew they were making a schlocky alien invasion flick. And it was going to be a cheap buck, and they had lucked out getting Jack Palance and Martin Landau.
And if any of them were going to be told that, like, 40 years later, anyone would even remember, let alone talk about this movie, they would laugh in your face, right? It's just kind of weird what sort of sticks in the culture and what doesn't.
Yeah.
It is very 80s, but it doesn't have that garish 80s quality that a lot of... It's not like the girls just want to have fun kind of Punky Brewster care. It's just tactily 80s. This is sort of country folk out in the... It's got... It aged better than a lot of 80s movies in that
Rick
way.
Baker actually did the alien design, and he did it for like $19,000. So they've got the talent. It's got those cliche cat jump scares that you love, Larry. And they've got another music box scene that happens in these kind of movies. Love them.
Dean Cundy shot it.
Yes, he did, which is another sort of wow, good for him.
Yeah, I think at this point he was just like, he made his name off of Halloween.
Yeah.
Now he's making some money.
Yeah.
Right? And so take whatever job comes and shoot it as best you can. And I think that's what happened here.
Yeah, it looks well enough for the small budget that it has.
Yeah. And I think a bad cinematographer or director of photography can definitely show your hand.
Yes.
Weirdly, we will forgive bad acting way more than we'll forgive bad camera work or bad lighting. Like, it's strange, but it's true.
Yep. What was with that quote that the Martin Landau character has at the end? Like, everything is done, the destruction has been had, but Landau has this... They use his voice once again for this quote at the end, and I didn't understand why. It was just bizarre.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Do you remember?
It just happens right before the end credits, and it's like, why is it there? It's once again, it's one of those. There's aliens out there. It's of that ilk. Like, beware, beware.
I'm just bringing up the quote section in case it's in here.
Look, I actually want to see this. The guy Graydon Clark, he did a movie called Joysticks as well, which apparently is it's a hijinks 6 arcade comedy. You know, when arcades were cool. We already talked about that actually earlier.
Yeah.
But
it does speak of a different time. I was going to bring that up when we talk about The Last Starfighter, but yeah.
Yep.
They used to laugh at me and say I was crazy, but now they're going to know, yes, they're going to know, and it's going to be all right. Fred Sarge Dobbs.
Yep. Just strange choice. I'm like, why are you there? Why are you there? But, I mean, it's without warning. It's a lot of fun. Like, it just, at the time, it scrapped that sort of B sci-fi monster movie itch that I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah.
It's very schlocky, and like I said, it's good to see Kevin Peter Hall. Don't quite know how the characters figure out that the alien's hunting them. That was another thing.
They read the script, right? Like, there's no reason.
All these exposition lines, it's hunting us, and there's the shack, and it's piling up all its bodies. More than one website said, this was an influence on Predator, and I'm like, how? I mean, yes, it's an alien.
Shows up to hunt.
But does it though? Like, I mean,
we make that assumption because they make that assumption.
Yeah,
so.
but like, at one point they're saying it also eats them, so I'm like, I don't know. Now we're like just being silly and picking.
But I like the sort of tall, gaunt look of the alien and the way it walked slowly, and it had these discs that did most of the work for it, and it just seemed like it didn't really care. It wasn't really impressed, or you couldn't reason with this. There was no talking to it. It wasn't here to communicate. It was here just to fuck shit up. And its stoicness kind of made it more scary. We're used to the more, like aliens, 2 feet. No, he's just sort of slowly walking around, and if he sees you, you got a problem.
Yep. And at some point he's got flippers for fingers, and at other points he's just got human fingers, and that's charming.
I'm not here to judge.
No. I love when it gets shot. It's like a gallon of like blue fluid comes out of it.
It just kind of looks at it like, we're doing this now.
Yeah. But it's like, most beings would be dead if losing that much fluid. But it's like,
so this is what Earthlings do, huh?
Yeah.
I worried that this was a movie that I was going to recommend, but that was a movie just for you and me. But the fact that we're so simpatico on it makes me think that, I think if you catch the vibe that we're throwing, if you're picking up what we're putting down, yes. But to go back to where I started,
it's a fun movie, but not a good movie. Yes,
good enough.
Great new day sensation, light and free now. Gives you elevation. Enough is never enough. Enough is never enough of the stuff.
The stuff, the taste that makes you hungry for more. The stuff, taste that delivers. Enough is never enough.
We interrupt this presentation with the following urgent message.
Tonight, America is in grave danger. We are under alien attack by a popular dessert known as the stuff.
Here, Jason, take some.
No, don't eat that. There is something alive in there.
Tasty. There's something alive in yogurt. It's called benign bacteria.
If the stuff is in your house, do not eat it. If you have it on your shelves, do not sell it.
So it's weird how you remember things when you're a kid.
Yeah.
The stuff, I don't know if it maybe tread that line. It might have pulled off a PG rating, but it was a movie that I was allowed to rent on my own. They would let me rent it.
Wow.
And my memory of the movie, and again, I probably saw it like a half a dozen times when I was a little kid, was that it was about this little boy who figured out that this yogurt dessert was actually alive and killing people, and no one would believe him. And like that was my memory of the movie, that it was like one of these kid-centric horror movies. When I came to revisit it, well, of course, this being Larry Cohen, it's got Michael Moriarty in it.
Yes, it does.
And Michael Moriarty, who's in a ton of Larry Cohen's films, is doing his Michael Moriarty thing.
Yeah.
And it's an ambitious movie in many ways, in that, like, it's trying to do a lot at once. It's trying to be sort of satirical about, like...
I think it succeeds, yes.
And sort of talking about the advertising and sort of the machine put behind things that make people crave Coke or want to eat them. They want to have just some fun with it. They want to have some funny, outright, sort of weird goofiness that 80s movies were known and celebrated for.
Yeah.
And they want to actually pay off at times a little bit this zombie body snatchers sort of horror vibe.
Yep.
And I think you're right that they're successful in those three things, but only one of those three things in any given scene. Like, the movie, this scene is funny.
Yeah.
This scene is satire.
Yeah.
This scene's just straight weird.
Yeah.
This is a horror scene.
Yeah.
Now this is a comedy scene.
Yeah.
Now we're back to, like...
There's too much. There's too much.
It actually ends up hurting the movie. It's an interesting movie. It's like, if you're into this kind of vibe, definitely check it out. But, like... I had affection for it when I was a kid, and as I've grown up, it doesn't have the same shine that I remember.
Really?
I mean, it's fun. It's fun, and Michael Moriarty is just out of his fucking mind.
He's given a gift of a role, like, but he always wants more.
But like I talked about it in the It's Alive sequel, the same thing in Q the Winged Serpent, like. His characters are so strange and so eccentric, and you really get the feeling like he just showed up in the day and said, "Hey, what if I did this?" And like he's like this spy that goes in and helps corporations sabotage their competitors and all of this. Really not a likable guy.
No.
Completely, you can purchase his services. Like he has no moral compass or agenda, and we're supposed to like him. All of the women who see him are supposed to like him instantly.
Yeah. But he's this character that exists only in movies like these. Like, he's kind of like an Ash Williams, even though I think Ash is far more heroic. And
he seems to know he's shitty. It's everyone else who doesn't seem to know he's shitty.
But this is
Ash is kind of the opposite.
Yes. Oh no, he's an ass.
Yeah. Everybody thinks Ash is silly, but Ash thinks he's amazing.
But I also think of that Thrill Me Detective from Night of the Creeps, where they know what movie they're in, and they've always got the snappy line. They always know how where the exit is. Like, they know all the rules. But this is a character that exists only in a movie like this.
Where the movie excels to me are the practical 80s special effects and the concept of, like, we will eat anything that they tell us to.
Yes.
In fact, we will fight each other for it.
Yeah,
there's an addictive chemical or part of it. I love that it just seeps out of the ground. Some guy sees the shit bubbling out of the ground and he's like, I'll try a taste of that. That's good. I should sell it.
Yes.
Cut to, like, the world falling apart a year later.
And this sentient blob, has this masterful plans, like it's trying to take over the world. And I do love that. Love the movie for it.
And it doesn't have to try to take over the world. We do it for him, right? Like, we consume it, we advertise it, we make people crave it, they're addicted to it.
Yeah, but it wants us to be addicted.
Absolutely.
And then it
eventually takes over your very mind.
Yeah, and it's communicating to all the infected that this is the plan, where, it's moved out from that factory into New York, and it has plans for global dominance. That is actually kind of a terrifying idea. And then when the movie hits that part, when we find out that this thing is sentient and it can infect it, it wants to infect the entire world,
and he can, like, send in spies.
Yeah.
You've got enough stuff in your system, you're on their team. Even people that we met before and liked. Where was Garrett Morris from?
Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Yeah, he got his origin, and every time he's on screen, there's an energy to the movie that it never quite recovers.
He was that guy in this movie. I was like, God damn, I know you.
He was popular on Saturday Night Live when this movie was made. And it's Chocolate Chip, what's his name?
Chocolate Charlie.
Chocolate Charlie.
He's got a interest in desserts, because the stuff is basically, you don't gain weight when you eat it, and it's got
Chocolate Chip Charlie W. Hobbs, which is actually based off a real person, and that whole narrative where the company bought him out and pushed him out when he created it. It's based off another sort of famous cookie baron. Garrett Morris is awesome in this movie.
Well, it's the one death that kind of counted for me in this movie. Like, when he wolfed out, I was sort of bummed out about it.
Yeah.
But I think, to go back to where I started once again, maybe it's the movie that I remembered or the movie that I wanted. Because I really feel like what this movie should have been is that little boy sees the yogurt crawling around in his refrigerator and no one will believe him.
Yeah.
And not only will no one believe them, it comes to the point where his parents won't eat anything but that.
Yeah, and they try to
force feed him this food. Conceptually, kind of terrifying.
Yeah. I think where the movie loses some steam is when Paul Sorvino comes into the movie, and they've got that whole army fighting back.
And it gets goofy.
If it may have stayed in the suburbs, it could have had something even more. But I do love the commercials. I do love the satire that they're going to do. I do love the fact that it's a creature feature, and even how they did the effects of the thing, like pushing that person up the wall and they started digesting them. All that was great.
A lot of reverse footage on people.
Yeah,
and, cool,
But there's
clever stuff.
Yeah, but there's too many ideas for a 90-minute movie, and I get the sense they probably ran out of money, and there's too many ideas. I think
it's like a bunch of sketches on a similar theme more than it is a movie.
In some ways, yes,
but it's not interesting.
No, I do enjoy it, and I can definitely understand it. It's cult film status. This is a positive review. My only criticism is that it really, not that it runs out of steam, but I think there's just too many ideas packed in to this 90-minute cult B movie, and that if it would have stayed in the suburbs and not had those army people, I think that was enough.
Yeah. And you know what? If your problem with your movie is that you have too many ideas, I would rather that than you had no ideas.
Yes,
because I've suffered through a lot of movies that had no ideas.
Yeah,
and that's not what's happening here. So
yeah, but this movie did move me forward, and I do like the idea, even though we still live in a world where there's a lot of these preservatives and foods that I still eat that are killing us, whether it's microwave popcorn or McDonald's or whatnot. This is an old problem, and the fact that Coen decided to satirize this, but mind you, this is a guy that gave us atomic mutant babies and vengeful pimps and giant dinosaurs attacking New York. It was only a matter of time.
But you got to think about shit, not to go too off subject. I think it was Pringles are not allowed to be stored on the shelves with chips. You have to go to a different aisle to get Pringles because there's not enough actual chip to call it chips.
I know. It's ooh.
What the fuck are we?
Yeah, I know.
If it's not potato, what?
What is this, corn syrup? What is this? Yeah, no, I know.
And again, there's real fruit to mine here. There's good stuff in it. At the risk of making an unpopular opinion, remake?
Possibly. It could be
It's a very solid idea. Yeah. And it has stuff that works in it. Michael Moriarty.
See, I defend him in this movie.
I defend him generally, but I do think the thing that makes him different is instead of the system of Hollywood and fame making Michael Moriarty crazy, this dude was always fucking crazy.
No, he is 3 sheets to
He came out of the box, out of his goddamn mind. I'm here for it.
Yes.
But
one of God's own blueprints. I freely admit. Too weird to live, too strange to kill. I know I'm riffing off on Ernest Thompson, but yes. And yet his daughter has come out sane, or so we think.
Well, we'll see. Time will tell. I mean, I hope so. I hope for her sake. He does strike me as a very, very crazy individual. And again, I like to watch him. I don't know that I would have him on my set, but
clearly
I will watch him.
Coen, so no, I think he's great in this movie. He adds a je ne sais quoi.
I think there is a curiosity factor to him headlining a movie. It's not going to mean that the movie's good at all, but what's he going to do?
Yeah.
Scene to scene, what's this fucking guy going to do?
Nicolas Cage once a time did that too, so...
In the Island of the Alive movie, there's a scene where he does the sea shanty, and I remember reviewing that. I was like, there's no way that was in the script. He's on a boat with the rest of the cast, and he's like, let's sing a song.
In fact, I think this should be the Cole Hauser Award part to Michael Moriarty.
Let's pour one out for Michael Moriarty. It's kind of short shrift, but is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think we've covered enough about the stuff. Great practical effects, great idea for a story, great satire. Just too much. They did
loaded with ideas, loaded with potential.
Too much.
Doesn't completely close the deal, but it closes the deal enough that I will say, give it a day.
What's sad, there's a side note that I want to do. Apparently, the reviews on this film when it came out were quite good, and they were all set for a big release because they had some alternative advertising, just advertising the stuff, which was really cool. But coming soon to a theater near you, and then apparently there was a big snowfall, and it was supposed to have killed their opening, and it became the cult film that it is now. But it could have been a contender.
Yeah. And weirdly, it's one of the high watermarks from this filmmaker.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Anyways, the stuff.
Condemn our mother will invade. Even your mighty Starfighter will be able to save you.
There's no fleet, no Starfighter, no plan. It'll be a slaughter.
That's the spirit.
Proceed with the visual attack formation.
Listen, Centauri, I'm not any of those guys. I'm a kid from a trailer park.
If that's what you think, then that's all you'll ever be. Victory or death! Victory or death! Now face it, Alex. You're a born starfighter.
So you know what I watched the shit out of when I was a little kid?
I don't know what, Larry.
The Last Starfighter.
As did I.
I thought it was pretty damn awesome.
It was the bee's knees when I was 13.
And I carry a lot of that love into revisiting the film, but I do have to go in a little bit shields up. Like, there's a reason it's been a long time since I've watched The Last Starfighter.
Yep.
But the stuff that I'm going to rate out the gate, not only forgive, but completely, like, recommend and endorse, is the digital animated Starfield.
Yep.
Does it hold up to compared to the star stuff the space stuff we get today? Not even a little bit. It does look almost like the video game, even when he's supposed to be in a real spaceship. But it holds the reality enough for this story and this universe.
It works if you just buy the fact that these were hot step in special effects in 1984.
Unprecedented in what I mean. Tron had happened, but this is such a leap from Tron.
2 years later,
and it's 2 years later. So, does it look amazing by 2025 standards? Of course not. But by 1984 standards, this was pretty cutting edge. Was it openly a wannabe Star Wars movie?
Doesn't,
of course,
have an original bone in its body.
Nothing.
Not one.
I think that they tapped into something with the arcade thing, because in 1984, arcades were like the coolest thing in the world. You would ride your BMX bike, right, to the store. You'd lock it with the chain, with the plastic around the chain. And then you'd go in the store and you'd feed quarters into that machine and you would drink a Slurpee, right? And even if you weren't good at these video games, I was fascinated. I would watch someone else play the game just because I was dazzled by it. I thought it was incredible. I think it works on the same sort of psychological idea that slot machines do. The bright lights, the big noise, it becomes hypnotizing. But this guy, high school, a guy named Alex beats
Rogan,
the Starfighter video game in his trailer park. And the entire trailer park, crowds around as he plays
in a scene that would only exist in a movie like this, but sure. 13-year-old boy fantasy.
There's something sort of sweet about it.
Yes, but there's no way that in real life with that girlfriend would be hanging around going, "Oh, Alex, you're my hero. Please stick your tongue in my ear because you beat the Starfighter video
Can I watch you play more video games,
Can
please?
you? Can I please? I am ready.
My life is defined by watching you play video games. No, of
course not.
No.
Yes.
But I like the idea of it, that everybody's really
there's a lot you have to just suck it up and go with.
And again, nobody would care about the video games that much as they did in 1984. But I think that got kids excited about it too. That the idea that if you were so good at this video game, you would be noticed by some interstellar recruitment team, and they would get you to fly an actual spaceship.
See, but this movie lied to us, Larry. It lied to us, boys, saying that girls find video games exciting just to watch their boyfriends play it.
I'm just saying on a premise level,
yes,
it was built to fucking make money.
I get it.
And they deserve
every
penny.
I get it, and I'm just being a sourpuss, but yes.
No girl in the world's gonna live to watch her boyfriend watch video games. This is why it's a fucking fantasy movie, okay? But yes, he does get recruited, and the B plot, which was the part that I remembered less upon revisiting, is that he has a robotic replacement sent in his stead.
Beta. Who is the secret sauce to this movie?
It's the cutaway comic relief stuff. I do still, as a kid, whenever we cut back to the trailer park, I kind of wanted to be back in outer space. But there's a lot of fun 80s cheesy hijinks.
I think that side narrative with Beta is all gold. Especially with his brother, was it Lewis? The brother, the Peeping Tom one? The scene where he's taking off his head and fixing his ear. And it's I remember this. This is why I laugh really hard. No. It is slapstick comedic gold. Lewis, you're having a bad nightmare.
And again, I'm 8 when I'm watching this movie for the first time, okay? You gave me the remake of Invaders from Mars, and the head reveal scene was sort of similar to that. I knew that Beta wasn't a threat, but there was something scary about that to me. It's
and
sort of
when
the kid walks up to
Alex's... that one scene where he's still transforming into him, and he's pulsating.
But in Invaders from Mars, there's that scene where the kid walks up to the science teacher and she turns around and she's got half a frog sticking out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Like, watching that today, it's not scary at all.
No.
But I promise you, when I was 8, that shit was traumatizing.
Yep. Those kid beasts kind of cause some nightmares. And it's some really cool designs as well. But I digress. You go.
I also liked the guy who recruits him. I'm trying to find... Is it Dan
Centauri?
Centauri. Where is it? No, Robert Preston. Thank you, Centauri.
Yeah.
I remember taking him when he gets shot.
Yeah.
As a kid, again, that being like an incredibly intense moment for me. Like, no!
Yes. Yep. No, it hurt. The death hurt.
And that's what this movie brings into me. And like I said at the introduction, if there's any movie that's going to be corrupted by my own personal bias and affection, it's definitely The Last Starfighter. Like, I just have feels for this movie, and I will make excuses for this movie. I just will. You might not, but I will. And the only hurdle, for as far as I'm concerned, to get over is the special effects. And if you look at it as a historically significant special effects moving the bar forward, it's absolutely that. And as far as Star Wars knockups go, the screenplay does the job.
Yeah.
The comic relief robot romance stuff that shouldn't work kind of works.
Yeah.
Like, that's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
It's like you have the star fight, but the whole movie can't be the star fight because that's too expensive. So we got to wrap it around some charming, narrative, fun 80s rom-comedy.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of genre blending. Like we say, like the stuff was not able to pull that off.
Yeah.
The Last Starfighter, granted with a much bigger budget, was able to.
I'm also going to shout out character actor Dan O'Harely, who plays Grig. His navigator, and really the one who's kind of beautifully manipulating Alex into becoming the Last Starfighter. He's the old man from the RoboCop film series, but also was Connell Cochran in that Pulitzer Prize-winning classic Halloween 3. Still can't get it with that
Season of the Witch.
He's the bad guy there, but underneath all that sort of lizard makeup is Grig, and it's him. And I always
fantastic makeup.
Yeah,
fantastic makeup.
The makeup in this is really good. I'm also going to shout out the editor of this movie because it's just under 110 minutes, but it is epic. Editor Carol Timothy O'Meara. Those opening shots where we're getting to know the community. There's that lady who needs her cable fixed because the soaps are going to be on in the afternoon, and characters that we really don't see a whole bunch past, I'd say, the half an hour mark. But it establishes a world, and it's these long tracking shots that you don't really see in a lot of movies anymore.
It was also a choice, and a different one, and a good one.
That it works.
No, but that it be a trailer park?
Yes.
Usually in the 80s, they're obsessed with people who live in these huge houses. And I think a lot of it is honestly because they're easier to shoot in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, like, usually everybody's living these rich, perfect Ferris Bueller lives, right?
Yeah.
Not the case here. Right?
No,
they live in a trailer park, and it feels like that. And their poverty is probably what feeds into the community.
Yes.
And the community does feel a little bit syrupy and aw shucks, but I do think it adds a flavor and charm to the movie. We establish in this real feeling world before we go off into this fantastical one.
Yeah.
And it makes the fantastical one more credible.
Yeah, it also makes Alex a lot more relatable. I love the optimism of this movie that only really 80s, that was starting to die a little bit in the 90s, but this is not a dark movie in any shape or form. And there's that scene where Alex is realizing that, he just got denied entry into college or the university. And he's looking up at that model of planets that are just circling above him, and it's got that epic score that the film has. And I just thought, we don't really see that anymore in these kind of movies. It's very much an 80s. I know it's this whole Luke Skywalker Christ figure, Excalibur, like that's what Alex eventually becomes. But there's a certain aw shucks gee willikers that really died by the 2000s in American cinema.
You have seen this movie before.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes. And it's directed by Michael Myers.
Yes.
Nick Castle.
Yes.
And I think he handles the material well. Like I say, you're balancing a lot. It's a trickier thing to balance than I think people give credit.
Oh, no. There's a lot of balls to juggle in there.
Yeah.
Lots of balls.
A lot of balls.
A lot of balls to juggle.
Well, maybe, literally.
All right, so Last Starfighter lover, what is the big quota that the video game does? The saying they have to do. that the starfighters have to say before they go into battle. That's also in the video game.
Oh, their battle cry?
Their battle cry.
What is it?
Oh, yeah, don't look. Let's see if you can memorize it.
You're shaming me. I just watched this a week ago. No, I can't.
I've got it. I've got it here.
I know they have to they defend the frontier from something.
Recruits him by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada.
Yeah, I defend the frontier. I couldn't get the names, but I knew what you were talking about.
Say that 3 times fast, Larry.
The Star League.
Yes.
Defend the frontier against Zur
and the Kodan Armada. See, only that would exist in a movie like that.
That's right. And little details, like the alien, his co-pilot, the guy you're talking about, has this really specific way that he laughs.
Yeah.
Kind of, you're playing an alien, right?
Yeah.
I get that they have all this goop over your face, but you get locked into it. And this movie's guilty of it too. All of the aliens still have about human size, 2 arms, 2 legs,
they
2 eyes.
They are people in
It's
in
the Star Trek school of aliens. So I really appreciate an actor who will go the extra mile to convince me that he's from another planet.
Yep. Also, a special shout out to Catherine Maggie Stewart, who's easy on the eyes, but it was great in a movie like Night of the Comets.
Yep.
She's really good as is it Charlie the boyfriend? Maggie
Gordon. Yes.
Maggie Gordon, but she's also good. And like, just had a presence about her that was like spunky and forceful, and too bad she just didn't move beyond movies like Night of the Comets or this. Or
yes,
whatever.
her career didn't go much past the 80s, did it?
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Anyways, she's good, I tell you. She's good.
It survives 40 years. It survives my childhood.
Yeah.
I really hope there's never a day where I don't get at least some measure of joy out of The Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
But it's personal here. I'm gonna wave that flag.
Yeah, I do love, like I said, I mentioned the score by Greg Safon. Dun, 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 dun. I was singing that for days after watching this movie. It stuck in my head.
They did scores really well in the
Love
80s.
the opening credits too with the, sort of the 3D lettering. Like, once again, it's ripping off Superman a little bit, but it was just like...
We were talking about Rayma Williams the other day. Like,
yeah.
that score fucks pretty hard.
It does.
For a stupid, stupid
bad
action.
movie. But yeah, it's got that triumphant, because you're like strutting down the street all of a sudden. Dun, da, 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 da. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I know this. But yeah, once again, The Last Starfighter is one of those scores where it kind of gets you in those cheesy feels, and you want to put on a cape, like Artal, and say, now that I'm super angry or
if
something.
you grew up in the 80s and you want to visit your childhood, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what the 80s felt like,
Last Starfighter.
That's the one.
Last Starfighter.
Marooned on a desolate planet, he is a soldier, alone with his enemy.
You get it or don't you get the English, huh? I don't love you and you don't love me. We're stranded here, you understand?
His suspicion will change to tolerance.
You saved my life. Why? I need to look at another face, even as ugly as yours.
Tolerance will lead to friendship.
We should open up a little place here. I could ruin the food. You could scare away the customers.
And with that friendship will come an overwhelming responsibility.
You must be a parent. Don't kid around, Jerry. You must take my place.
So, I think there's a weird bait and switch that happened with Enemy Mine.
Okay.
Like, especially when I was a little kid. Again, this is a year after The Last Starfighter, I guess. But
sure.
It's advertised as like this: stranded on an alien planet with your mortal enemy.
All quiet on the galaxy front. Yeah.
Monsters, action. But it's actually secretly a pretty straight-faced sci-fi. Know thy enemy, to the point of even love thy enemy.
Yes.
And it's a relationship piece for the first 2/3 of it.
Yep.
And then it has an afterthought kind of action finish. Not that there isn't action and suspense moments throughout it. We actually watched this in school. I have a memory of seeing this.
It's funny that you mentioned that, but yeah.
Same thing?
No, but go ahead. Sorry.
I was like, sweet, we're watching science fiction at school. And then right away, once they establish, the two opponents on the land and they're trying to kill each other, and the tenuous peace that they have to make to survive these continual meteor showers that are happening, they become friends, they start bonding. And I realized, even as a kid, you guys are tricking me. Yeah. You told me that this was going to be an adventure, action, sci-fi movie.
It's a
social you're teaching me a lesson.
Social justice science fiction movie.
And the movie worked anyway.
Yep.
Even as a kid, and I was like, I see you, movie. I see you. You lied to me.
Yeah.
You lied to me. I liked the characters. I invested in the characters. I fucking hated it when Louis Gossett Jr. died.
Yeah.
And I was invested in him raising this alien kid or keeping this alien kid safe.
Yeah.
It all completely worked for me.
Yeah.
Again, we have to now add 40 years almost, right?
Yeah.
And the space battles, I say, look significantly worse in Enemy Mine than they did in the last Starfighter. But they're a minimal part of the movie.
Yeah.
They set up the action, they get him stranded, and the other guy, the alien creature stranded on the planet. Once we nest in on that planet, the first 2/3 of the movie, I'm going to say on the planet, no notes.
Yep.
The third act, lots of notes.
It's funny that you mentioned that, yeah.
But it holds up really well. Like, again, get past the cheesy space battle at the beginning and invest in the drama that unfolds on this alien planet. Thank you, practical effects.
Yeah.
Thank you, set design.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. for not phoning it in any way.
Yep. Considering how difficult it was to make this movie, yep.
All is forgiven for Jaws 3, gentlemen.
Wow, okay. Hey, man, actors gotta eat. They gotta eat.
But, yeah, they were both in Jaws 3. That is not a very good movie, as I've discussed on the podcast. I really, really liked the movie, and I was expecting time to damage it, and it has not. I mean, I notice more bad things in the third act that we'll talk to when we get there, but I am shocked at how well, in a way, that this movie has aged. Thumbs up, remain up.
Well, see, back in the early 80s, and Hollywood always has a list of what's called black scripts, a list of hot but supposedly well-written but unproduced screenplays that have yet to be...
Either they're unsellable or they're just too hard to film.
Yeah. Anyways, Enemy Mine was one of those. It was based off a book by Larry Longyear that won the Nebula Award in 1980s, and all of a sudden it was this sort of hot property. But it was difficult to make. In fact, they even started making it with this other director that lasted about 3 weeks, whose name I can't find right now. But anyways, and then they had to stop because the footage wasn't good. But they were also shooting outside, and then they brought in Wolfgang, and they did everything indoors.
Yeah.
But the messages are not subtle.
No.
I agree. And
There's nothing subtle about the movie.
Yeah. But the performances, the relationship with Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. are really good. Louis Gossett Jr. is acting the hell out of this movie under a whole lot of makeup, under kind of at times, and he created his own language. It was Russia backwards, apparently, or Russian backwards, along with some gurgling. But I think he's acting circles around Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid is quite good in this movie. But it is a two-piece with some great sets and good old practical, and matte paintings and good old practical effects being thrown into it. Like, it is pretty to look at once you get past the starships, which are kind of clunky, but oh well. Interesting that you talked about the third act, because the novel and the movie, I haven't read the novel, but apparently it's quite close. Everything involving the mine was all brought in by the screenplay for the third act, and that's where it feels a little clunky.
I absolutely believe it.
Yeah.
Like, the tone and feel of the movie changes dramatically and not necessarily to the good.
Yeah.
Like, I would have, again, by this point, I was invested in the drama. I was no longer mourning the loss of the action extravaganza that I was promised. And now I'd invested in this character drama that happened to be taking place in space.
Yeah.
But I do think when Brian James shows up and it turns into the big shootout at the end, the movie does lose its direction a little bit.
It's kind of funny, and I don't think it's sort of fair, because the fact that its message is so up front. I had my sort of arms crossed going, oh, I get it, movie. I get it. You're teaching us that difference is bad. But look at where we're going into this world right now in 2025 about how xenophobic
maybe we're not all so different after all.
That's
as a
where
message.
that's where I was kind of like, wow, this movie's 86, and it's got an anti-imperialism kind of vibe to it, and that, that other people's religion and skin color is not bad, because really the Drax is supposed to be Muslim.
Everybody wants to look after their kids. Everybody wants a roof over their head, and beyond that, the rest is just semantics.
Yeah, but I get even the little book he's got is the Quran, and they do a whole the play on the whole Muslim called prayer called the Adhan, when he's like up and sort of chanting to the sky.
And as kids, did we get this?
No,
not at all.
No, yeah. But now I'm like, oh, I get it.
But I'm not bothered by it.
No, and that's why I'm kind of like, okay, like I sort of to unfold my arms and kind of go, you know what, I get it.
If they had done, I don't know, some like Desert Storm version of this, it would be so fucking cheesy and so grotesque.
I know.
That it would. Well, do you remember that movie, Midnight Clear?
Yeah.
Where like it's well intentioned, but like a bunch of soldiers end up
having
a fucking snowball fight on Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice, well-feeling Hallmark movie, but it's a fucking lie. Okay, but putting it in outer space with human and alien at odds with each other, then you can actually have the conversation without overtly stepping on toes.
Yeah.
It's not just wise, it might be necessary.
There's a really good scene where the Quaid character, is going to go out on his own and leave the Drac. What's the Drac's name again? The Gossip Jr. character. Alone.
Drac is this.
Drac is, okay. And Drac knows that it's pregnant, and the Quaid character doesn't know this yet. But you can see the hurt in his face that the Drac is going to be left alone. And Quaid goes out, but he comes back almost like a mournful puppy, like, hey, I'm back, and, blah, 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 blah. I do think it was a masterstroke to add that whole, it gives birth, and all of a sudden the human has to take care of it.
And that's the change of life for him. In order to give birth to this baby, he gives his life. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Your offspring doesn't get to know you. But it is kind of you.
Yeah. And it's touching.
Yeah.
Got me in the feels, I tell you. Got me in the feels.
But the only way that they could have made this like crazier is if it was legitimately their baby. We laugh, but that had occurred to me in like they're bonded
they
together.
They had an oops one night. They drank too much. Yeah.
For real. If we don't know how long they're stranded together on this planet, but months and months and months and months. And that little shelter that they're in when
I
the
get it.
years
Sometimes
fall,
cuddling turns into more. Yeah. I
I
ain't judging. Yay.
Obviously, they're not going to do that in this movie, but it would have been actually another way to raise, like, not only do you learn to love your enemy, you fucking
learn to love your enemy. There's a director's cut somewhere where Gossip gives birth, but it's Dennis Quaid's face of the alien baby coming out. Somewhere that print exists.
I don't seriously want that for this movie, but, like, again... That would have even brought the stakes. He feels
remake.
The kid almost might as well be his because he feels that responsible for his fate, and it works as much as it would. But as far as our enemy is not as different as we want to believe him, and the level of hate that Quaid's character has at the beginning of the movie for these things, like. The hilarious one of the pilots gets blown up. She has like 3 lines to get to know her before the space fight, and then she gets blown up, and it's just like, oh
no! There's even the music cue, like dun dun dun.
Yeah. So like he starts from this place of outright hate, and at the end, it's love.
Yeah,
it's love. Is that maybe a little bit cheesy and maybe a little bit heavy-handed? Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
But it's enemy mine. Yeah. No, this is a good movie. It's a good movie. I mean, it's not subtle in its messages, and I think that's part of my critique of the film, that it's not subtle. But then I sort of asked myself, but that's kind of the point.
And was this Wolfgang's first stateside movie?
Well, Neverending Story
was before this. Okay.
Yes, he had just come off it, and then it was brought in because Richard Loughlane is the director that got booted. Wolfgang Petersen doesn't get enough love, I think.
Yeah, so it was. You're right. It's his second American film.
Yeah, Das Boot really sort of brought him to the fold, and then Neverending Story, and then there was this, and then he just
Shattered, Outbreak, In the Line of Fire, Air Force One. Yeah, he had a career.
Yeah,
and he started strong. And again, anything that this movie is hampered by the fact that the special effects of 1985 digitally weren't there for them.
Yeah.
That pit monster that they fight,
Yeah.
awesome. Those little scaly creatures that crawl around, that they figure out, oh, look at how hard their shell is.
Yeah.
Like, we can both eat these and use them for our shelter. It's kind of like a survival story.
Yeah.
Instead of an island, it's a planet.
Yeah. You know, I'm also going to shout out like the set design, and like the paintings and the props. Today they'd use this technology called stagecraft, with those giant screens.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian did it, which Regina actually has one on their soundstage that is not being used right now, but that's okay because I'm not bitter. Give me some of that old, like those old plastic sets with the paintings and everything, and you could tell like those are real fireballs coming down. They actually talked about in the making about it, how close it came a couple of times.
Even models, still as good as CGI was, they have more weight. There's something about a real model.
Yeah, it's the same with, and I think film also helps with that as well. There's a certain fantasy world that film provides. Just looks better, but
I stand by, the worst special effects are done 10 minutes into the movie.
Yes.
Once we're on the planet, I'm kind of there until the big shootout at the end of the mine.
Yeah.
And I'm not there for the shootout because John Bryan, his character, hasn't existed in the movie long enough for me to care about him.
Yeah.
And even as a kid, I could maybe believe something bad would happen to Dennis Quaid. Nothing bad was going to happen to that little boy.
Yeah.
I just couldn't bring myself to believe
Yeah.
it. And it guts the ending of any stakes.
It does kind of fall apart a little bit at the end.
Again, I think the more interesting, probably I'm not really the story, but if he shows up back with his Earth buddies, with his son, who is a Drac, how do they react to that? Like, there's a whole other fucking movie there, right?
Yeah.
So, where it leads is maybe a little bit disappointing, but that essential relationship, it's true. Louis Gossett Jr. is amazing in the movie, and the movie loses something when he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's just true, but not enough to give up on the movie.
No, it's good. I love that opening shot, though, of that dead space, that dead space person with his helmet broken over and he's floating in space. That shot has always stayed with me as well. Yeah. Pretty cool. No, Enemy Mines, it's good. It's good.
Take the note, too. It's advertised as an action movie.
It's not.
It's a survival character movie. It's almost a drama, but it's an awesome one.
Yes.
Intellectual decay! Turn it off and rot your brains out!
The Parmans are just a typical American family. The only thing they're missing is a pet. But have we got a surprise for them? You see, Stanley Parman's new satellite TV has just gone on the blink. And it's drawn in a creature from outer space. Like all new pets, this one's causing a little trouble around the house. And he's eating the Parmans out of house and home. In fact, it seems like this creature will eat anything. Well, just about anything.
You looked right at my studs and cooled out. This dude's into metal!
Now, it's up to the kids to break the creature of its bad habits.
I said shut up!
But he's not responding well to discipline.
Earth children, please. I mean you no harm. I am Pluthar, here to save you.
The Parmans finally got themselves a pet, but they never even had a chance to give it a name. Terrorvision from Empire Pictures.
So yesterday, Beckmann and I watched Terrorvision. Yeah. For me, it was a rewatch, but it was...
First time for me.
It was the 1900s, the last time I watched Terrorvision, and all I really remembered was this really crazy, gloppy-looking monster with this protruding eyeball.
Yep.
And that is the memorable thing about the movie in a lot of ways. We've talked about different types of movies in this 80s sci-fi bunch. Like, there's sort of hardcore nostalgia. There's the sort of so bad it's good. Yeah. There's maybe even the guilty pleasure where that blurs with the so bad it's good.
Yeah.
I think what I would settle with Terrorvision is that it's an is what it is movie. It is ridiculous. It's upfront about its ridiculousness.
Oh yeah, from the opening shot.
It's overtly, like, loudly satirical, but in a kind of awkward, garish sort of way.
Yeah.
Honestly, for the first 15 minutes, I was like, I don't think I'm liking this too much.
Okay.
Because there was just a lot of take. The characters were unlikable, and they were all screaming their lines.
Yeah.
And it was
They're
overplayed.
insane. They're insane.
In theater, we would call it a grotesque run sometimes, where you would go through the play, but play bigger than you ever would actually on stage, just to feel things out. Maybe you discover something, maybe something surprises you, blah, blah, blah. Everybody is being grotesque in every scene in this movie. And the movie itself is grotesque, and it's upfront about it. But once we finally, the TV gets, the satellite gets infected by this alien garbage transmission.
Which is actually an alien dog.
An alien pet that eats stuff and gets obsessed with things. And it does have this weird, adorable quality to its disgustingness, but it does also eat people and melt them into this goopy sludge.
Digest them.
So that's a hard line to walk between those two ends.
Yeah.
But there was a point that happened about 15 minutes into this 85-minute movie where I just relaxed and said, Larry, just stop fighting this at all.
Yeah.
Don't try to analyze this in any way. Just let it wash over you.
Yeah.
I think that the farther away you get from 1986, the less the jokes really land and hit.
Some of it, yes.
The whole satellite swinger culture, the whole yuppie culture.
It's definitely riffing on that sort of consume capitalism.
That stuff still exists, but it's sort of mutated into a different format than we would be presented here today. And we kind of aren't really asked to like any of the characters because they're mostly going to be eaten by this monster.
Yeah.
The movie did get me, though. I kind of figured that our little kid protagonist was going to make it to the finish line, but
nope.
Nobody makes it to the finish line.
Yeah.
We're not devastated by this. It's not like this, oh my god, what have we wrought?
Yeah.
But it's fun and it's goofy, and in the end of the day, all it wants to be is fun and goofy. And if you are somebody who is steeped in the 80s stuff, it seems like about 2/3 of the cast is somebody from something.
Yeah.
It's just made of that guy. Diane Franklin, I was, like, when we were watching the movie, I was like, oh, I know you from something.
Yeah.
She was in Better Off Dead. We talked about John Grease, Odie.
Yeah, character actor in a lot of genre films.
Yeah, he was in Real Genius. That was the thing that made...
the guy in the closet.
That's right.
He was also one of the henchmen in Fright Night 2, the werewolf. He was in Monster Squad. He's been in a lot of things.
Yeah. And Buechler, the guy who's doing a lot of the goopy...
John Carl Buechler, yes. Buechler, yes.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people went on to other things. Mary Warnoff's kind of a cult figure. She was in Piranha and a bunch of other B movies. And, so, like, all of these fun ingredients are here. Burt Remsen plays the grandfather, who's this, like, crazy militaristic guy, and he's tried to, like,
PTSD.
transpose his personality onto his grandson. And it's kind of a big flashy role, but he's one of the first people to go. And once he goes, this little kid is dedicated to avenging the death of his grandfather. And sort of like the kid in the stuff, nobody has any time for him. They even joke that he just give him some of his pills. He has these episodes where he makes shit up. It's just...
There's so many inappropriate jokes that fly in this movie.
And it's dismissed like they put no weight to the terrible things they say. Not the characters.
Or do.
Not the characters or the movie. Like, this is all just supposed to be funny, I think. It's all supposed to be kind of hilarious. And some of it is, some of it kind of isn't. Some of it's a little bit in politic, but on brand for, again, 1986.
Yes.
So, at the end of the day, again, is it a great movie? No. But I think it's absolutely doing what it set out to do.
Yeah.
If you're in the mood for something stupid and you are not like me, where you were going to be asking too many questions...
Yes.
Give Terrorvision a look, because I do think, if nothing else, it's an original piece. And, yeah, I don't think it's going to withstand the test of time. This will be a forgotten movie eventually, but there's something goopy and weird and strange about it. It's kind of got an aw shucks lovable quality.
Which is deliberate.
Yeah, under all of the
Charles
craziness.
Band, too.
Yeah, and it looks so much better than almost any modern Charles Band production.
Yep.
Like... It was still a very cheap movie, but it doesn't feel cheap. Like, say, Puppet Master.
Sorry, would say that again, Larry?
Like, maybe Puppet Master, for instance. Anyway, I mostly like this movie. I do not want to oversell it, but you're listening to a podcast called 80s Sci Fi, right?
Yeah.
And if you want something that is, like, garishly ugly 80s...
Yeah.
Terrorvision will do the job.
I was smiling from the opening frame from the planet Pluton. I think it's where there's this trash facility that they're getting rid of their space trash, and it latches onto this satellite dish signal, and then they come into and the house would only exist. The family would only exist in 80s satire, and a house that would only exist in a movie like this. It's like this.
It looks like they're living in a kink museum.
Yeah. Like there's this Roman Baroque mixed with Andy Warhol 80s pop culture that is so painful to look at, and they have all these paintings with sexual acts on them, and once the alien shows up, these paintings start to move at one point, and your eye is just sort of distracted while you should be watching the actors, but it's just bizarre and exploitive. The movie hits a switch, I'd say about the halfway point, where it does go completely off the rails, and I love it.
It was never sane.
Yeah.
But it goes bonkers. You're talking about the orgy scene.
Okay, so the alien, for the viewers at home, once it digests you, it can regurgitate and manipulate you.
Make you, puppet you around to fool other people.
Yeah, even though they're covered in slime, if you got in close, you'd be like, something's wrong here.
The little kids' parents are swingers, and the kids are concerned enough what's going on, they barge into their bedroom anyway, expecting 4 people to be in there.
But they're looking for Grandpa.
That's right. And so the creature's under the blanket, and these 4 heads are sticking out from the blanket.
Yeah.
And these kids are confronting their parents, having sex with another couple.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
They ask, where's Grandpa? And all of a sudden, pops out from under the blanket, and Grandpa's participating on the orgy as well. And the kids accept this. I mean, they're disgusted, but they accept this.
Beautiful logic. And then it scaffolds or segues into the scene where this alien, it's whenever it gets like excited, it starts to be homicidal,
hop a little bit,
but it starts eating people, and it goes after the boyfriend of the daughter character, who's like an 80s punk rocker, and it stops and has this flashback to like someone in leather taking care of it and like feeding it and then like petting it, but petting it in places that it shouldn't, and you're like, what? Like, and it's very quick, but it just gets a level of crazy that I deeply enjoy in 80s satire horror comedies.
I also like this sort of line where something becomes so grotesque that it's almost cute.
Yeah.
The dog in Deadpool and Wolverine type of vibe.
Yeah.
I think this monster has this, and that it's very gloopy. It kind of has a Pizza the Hut vibe to its slimy existence. But there is something kind of weirdly adorable about it too. He's like, he'll eat you. Like, don't get too close to him.
No. Eventually, like, things will not end up well. And truth be told, they don't. I do love the fact that the kids completely forget about Grandpa and at one point try and keep it as a pet. Like, that's adorable.
And to the movie's credit, I guess I'll say, shit that I thought was nonsense that will never pay off and has anything to do. They keep cutting to this woman, the Medusa, on the TV. And you and I were like, not even sure. Is she real or is this like an alien broadcast?
Yeah.
Why are they cutting back to her? No, she's real. The kid calls her and she shows up to the house. And when the alien shows up to save the world from this creature.
I know.
This tertiary, secondary, like, background character kills this alien. And thus dooms the entire planet. And even though that happens as the credit rolls, we're just still smiling and bouncing our heads to the punk music.
I'm glad they brought the Medusa character a sort of full circle and she gets it, but just...
It really felt like she was there for some cleavage. Like, for the first...
and there is that one shot where it just
zooms.
And it's just like, it's embarrassing, but you're not subtle.
I don't dislike cleavage, and yet you're shaming me.
Like, really, folks? Really? But no, Terrorvision is a hoot. I loved it. It's 80-some minutes of madness.
It does not overstay its welcome.
No, and it does hit a level, I'd say, about halfway through, where the special effects by Buechler are awesome, but there is a level crazy that I do enjoy.
It's got something memorable to it, and the director, who I think might have triple-digit credits to his name, Ted Nicolau, I think in his catalog, this one does weirdly stand out. I was reading title after title as someone who keeps their ear to the ground to horror, and there were a lot of titles I didn't know or even heard of. But Terrorvision I'd heard of. It comes with, by the way, if you order it from Scream Factory, a 2-movie package with classic, terrible, wonderful movie, The Video Dead.
Video Dead.
Which I believe we have discussed on the podcast in the past.
Maybe.
So, I think it's a safe investment.
Yep.
If you wanted to watch Terrorvision, and you'd also get Video Dead for your ultimate, you've got a bad movie and a good bad movie, and I kind of get the vibe. Again, I think that if you're the audience for this movie.
Yes.
If you don't have an understanding or appreciation for 80s punk or yuppie culture, it might just seem absurd.
Really, Matt, this one's for you.
Yeah. It stuck where it came from. It didn't travel well from the 80s. But for those of us who know,
you know.
Oh, the 80s. Oh, my childhood. How is it 40 years ago?
Stop it. Stop it. You're making me feel old,
Are we
man.
old, Lee?
I want a nap later.
Yeah. This podcast is really taking it out of me.
First 2020.
Mr. Beckmann.
Yeah.
What was your least favorite of these 6 80s sci-fi movies and why?
It was so hard to rank these. It was. I guess my rubric was, what is your movie? What are you going for, and where are you successful? I have to put a little bit for ambition, but at number 6, and I don't think it's his fault, I have David Lynch's Dune. I think the main cursor is that you're trying to tell a 4 to 6 hour story in 2.5, and no. There's lots of things wrong with it, but no. So at number 6, I have David Lynch's Dune. At number 5, it puts a giant smile on my face, and it does accomplish what it's trying to be. That's Without Warning. It is what it is. It's goofy, it's silly, and it's got baby David Caruso and who's got short shorts.
So cringy.
Yep, it's bad. Number 4. Once again, I think it's pretty successful, but it needed to we needed a couple more script rewrites, and that's Cohen's The Stuff.
Yeah.
Cool movie, great cult movie. Love Michael Moriarty. I think he's really good in this movie. Also, his co-star, I think, understood the assignment. But that's the Coens. Is it not Rob Cohen?
Larry Cohen.
Larry Cohen's The Stuff. Number 3, I have Terrorvision. I think it's so bad it's good. It's crazy. It goes up a notch about halfway through. It's also short and sweet. It's trying to be a so bad it's good cult movie. But I think it's out of all 3, it's the most successful in just its lunacy. There's something about 80s horror satires like Parents or The Stuff, or even to a lesser extent Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. There's some sort of craziness that I love about horror satires.
Yeah.
And the 80s had a lot of them. And this is I think a good one in Terrorvision. At number 2, I have Enemy Mine, Wolfgang Petersen's Enemy Mine. I think this is a movie that I still to this day you could watch and kind of go, oh, there's some pretty timely messages here, and that kind of makes me sad a little bit. I know it's all quiet on the galaxy front, but I don't care. Louis Gossett Jr. is really good. Dennis Quaid's really good. It's a really good script, except for that third act a little bit. Little wonky, but that was added by the screenwriters. So Enemy of Mine is number 2. And for sentimental value, doesn't have an original bone in its body, but it got me in the feels. I have Nick Castle's The Last Starfighter.
You know what else gets you in the feels?
What's that?
Reasserting your championship.
Fucking A! I did it!
It happened.
I did it! Take that, everyone. Suck my taint. That's...
I guess your levels. At the beginning of this, I asked you to
Sorry.
tell me how loud you would
Sorry,
get.
That was vulgar, and I feel bad for saying it. I have tripled down.
I'm going to go through my rank anyway, because
Okay.
it is mine. I felt intuitively that this was right. If anything was going to fuck it up, it would be the top 2.
Okay.
I thought you might put Enemy Mine in number 1. Because I have this personal thing with The Last Starfighter.
Yeah,
I loved
so
it
do I.
so much when I was 10 that I will never not love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Like, I could find out that this movie, beat up one of my kids.
Yeah.
still kind of love it a little.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I have to put Dune in last place because I think it is a failure. It fails to successfully tell the story. It fails to keep me engaged.
Yeah.
It's a triumph in production, a failure in screenwriting, and a mixed bag in presentation and acting.
I don't think it's his fault, but sure. Yep.
Without Warning is hard to get enthusiastic about. Yeah. I was laughing at it as much as with it.
Yes.
So, like, I definitely take it with that grain of salt.
Yeah.
And, like, if you know, when we say Jack Palance, if you know what that means, then, enter on in.
Yeah.
Welcome to it. But, it might have even got away with something ranking in 5th place.
Yeah.
It felt mean putting Without Warning ahead of Dune, but it's
I know,
just how I feel.
Like I said, I was conflicted too. I was looking at the list last night going, am I really going to do that? Because I think the ambitions were higher with Dune, but I've said too much.
Interestingly, the problem with the stuff is there might be too much stuff in it. Like, it's got too much ambition. Where we complain today about movies that have no ambition, this one has too much.
Yeah.
And if you're going to fail, as far as I'm concerned, this is how to do it.
Yep.
And there's enough good stuff in it. Again, it sounds like I'm giving it a negative review.
No, I like the movie.
I liked it more when I was a kid because I didn't get all of it, I guess. But I still enjoy the stuff. So there we are. How is Terrorvision in 3rd place?
I don't know.
Again, like for the first 15 minutes, I was like, I don't know about this movie, you guys. Yeah. But once I let go and just let it wash over me, I found it fun and breezy. At 85 minutes, sure. Yeah. What was it trying to be?
Crazy.
A goofy, crazy 80s movie. Yeah. What is it? A goofy, crazy 80s movie. Yeah. It makes the top 3.
Yep.
Enemy Mine is number 2, and probably, in going back to my constant refrain of best and favorites, it might be, according to Hoyle, like a better movie than The Last Starfighter. I just like The Last Starfighter more. It's a piece of my childhood.
Yeah.
And say what you will about those special effects. Yeah, they look like an old video game, but they were groundbreaking. They worked for me then, and they work enough for me now. And if you're off-put by those digital effects, there's amazing practical effects throughout it. It's got a fun, bouncy vibe to it. And we're talking 80s sci-fi. That 80s family Amblin Spielberg vibe is just like it's tapping into that. It's hardcore mainlining that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, Starfighter had to be number 1. I'm maybe a little bit guilty about it, but that's how I feel. And it was the right call because you get to... your day is fucking made now. Right?
Yeah,
you're just going to be floating on a cloud.
Down. How do I get dethroned now? Does someone have to, doesn't win twice or, just... No.
Well, I mean, you'll still be probably on the books the most championed, unless we find somebody who becomes obsessed with my podcast. But, that's going to be hard to beat. But, yeah, I mean... If someone claims the throne, they claim the throne.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Your record is going to be insurmountable.
I want an entrance music next time. I want an entrance music.
We'll write some original music.
Okay, fine.
I don't want to get sued. I want to put this shit on YouTube.
I get it. I'm smart.
Big love to anybody out there old enough to appreciate 80s.
Yeah.
And big love for anybody out there young enough who want to find and discover 80s sci-fi.
Yes,
Thank you for your ears. Tell other people about RanknReview. I'm on YouTube now, and if you go to there and you were to listen to one of the podcasts, you could write your rank, and I would read your rank, and your comment and your like and your subscription would help my podcast. So let's all do that. Is there anything you'd like to say, Champion Beckmann? To sign off the first recorded podcast of 2025.
Thank you for listening, RanknReview viewers. We do it all for you. We do it all for you.
Didn't we do it all for love?
Yes, we did. Wherever you go, whatever you do.
I'm going to spare the world from that.
Oh.
I can't even describe to you how excited the Beckmann was. Lee was just overjoyed to have gone 6 for 6. He really, I feel like he started the new year off just in the absolute best possible way he can for him, and I am happy that I can make this man that happy. Yes, we were pretty simpatico in these 80s sci-fi movies. The champion is recrowned. But what do my listeners think? How would you rank these 6 80s sci-fi movies? And you can send feedback to me, or any feedback for Beckmann, which I can get to him, at RanknReview at gmail.com. That's RanknReview at gmail.com. The website is ranknreview.ca. I drop every other Wednesday, and if you need something to put in your ears in the in-between, I encourage you to check out my friend Jason Dubray's podcast, The Shelf Shedding Movie Show. If you like YouTube, go to YouTube and leave a like or a comment or a subscribe, because any of that minute activity helps to get me, more noticed on that mysterious platform. We're going to keep going every other Wednesday till we hit 275, kids. Thanks for your ears. Long live the 80s.